guys will have seen kind of all the B-roll of this absolutely incredible SR20 RX-7. I think the big thing for us, like I know a lot of you guys were asking for kind of build breakdowns and stuff like that. I think the big thing for the pair of us in terms of builds is something that has a story behind it.
Yeah.
And my God, does this thing have a story. The guys that built the car weren't too keen on jumping on camera and kind of talking through the work they did. And I think if they were to start talking about the work they did, they would still be talking, given just the amount of effort that was needed to get this car looking as beautiful as it is, and with that attention to detail, and they were really down to the wire.
Yeah, like they literally finished the car the day before the track day. They were kind of just hanging around the pits towards the end, and I was going around with the brand new gimbal, and you were going around taking photos, and we were just kind of blown away by, there was one, a Supra, and two, this SR20 RX-7.
Like obviously trackdays.ie, I've been their photographer for the last three and a half, 4 years. I don't know, I've been there a while, nearly part of the furniture at this stage. I've been there since track day 21, I believe. And I always like, when I get the chance, when there's kind of cool cars or stuff that you don't normally see, I generally like taking them for their own photo shoots. I've done it in the past with I've done it with a mad fully track built GT86. I've done it with a 2J S14 touring car, a R32 swapped Mark 1 Golf, and it's always kind of the cool things where there's like the build, there's actual time and effort gone into it, and rocked into the track day that day, and kind of a nardo grey RX-7 kind of immediately catches my eye, and about 15 feet further on past that is an absolutely gorgeous big single turbo Mark 4 Supra. So you just know it was going to be a good day. And from talking to the guys and actually kind of getting to know them and understanding that, I mean, this car had sat up for 10 years on a trailer after having a bit of engine trouble, that they were under the cosh to get the car built and get it back out after so long.
Yeah, and they were kind of like trying to eye up at the end of the day, or I think it was maybe at the start of the day, they'd already tried to take some photos underneath the bridge, and we were just like, look guys, can we pull you guys aside for a photo shoot and a small video shoot towards the end of the day? And they were really appreciative of it. Like, yeah. So we asked them would they speak a bit on camera. They weren't too keen on it, so I've gotten the full story from two of the guys. One of the guys is the friend in this case, and he's a painter, and I think he's a bit of a fabricator.
And from reading the message, is just an absolute legend. Yeah, their big thing, they got the car mapped the night before by Steve. Hello. This is the sort of content everyone wants to see. By Steve in MD Tuning. They got the car mapped the night before and got to Mondello really early the following morning because they wanted pictures under the bridge, because that's where Paddy McGrath was the photographer they named, took all the photos for Speed Hunters, and that was what they wanted. So we said, look lads, grab a hold of you.
We ain't no Speed Hunters, but we'll grab a hold of you for a few minutes.
Getting into it, got your question, bought the car, well, had a road RX-7 back in 2002, 2003, and then a couple of years later decided to go and buy another one that a guy had imported into the country but had never registered, so that was kind of a very obvious choice for a track car. And obviously with rotaries, the big Dorito had a chip in it, and the engine went bust. I mean, obviously the natural progression from that is take the good engine out of the road car, put it into the track car, and away you go.
Yeah, so then he actually had a friend of his that was braking in 180 at the time and wanted to give him the full running gear, the looms, the whole lot, and he was getting it for an absolute steal. Yeah, he then had to get obviously a lot of stuff fabricated then, especially for the RX-7. They had to notch the firewall, different drive shafts. They basically went ham on it, a lot of custom fabricated parts, so that they can get that going. So this is kind of pre the car being parked up, so that the actual SR20 went into the car and was in the car for quite a while until it got a bit of a rattle, and that's when everything kind of changed.
Like I mean, the guys have told us it did look a little bit mad. It had like a DRS type rear wing with a wiper arm and motor from some other car. They actually can't remember themselves what it was. Yeah, it was running good. Did a couple of track days and popped an oil filter. And it kind of took a little bit of diagnosing, and they realised there was a bottom end rattle in the car. So it went onto the trailer, and it was lined up for a couple of years.
So Paul went abroad, and the car at that time was actually sitting in storage. But while he was abroad, it ended up that the storage was no longer available, and the car got moved to Paul's dad's house and left out beside a turf machine. And fortunately, they decided to leave the entire car and trailer, like the car was actually left on the trailer
for about 10 years.
For about 10 years. And in that 10 years, the trailer was actually the saving grace of the car. The trailer rotted away, but fortunately enough, very minimal damage was done to the actual car.
Yeah, so like the whole kind of, let's say, reasoning for the car being rebuilt was Paul's car, and it's his friend that's been messaging us, giving us all the details on it. After about 10 years, he's texting him going, look, I want this car, or you do something with it. And you know, kind of the fear of regretting selling the car, the fear missing out of what it could be. April of last year, he decided, right, time to get the finger out and time to get this thing rebuilt.
Yeah, effectively bullied him into.
Yeah,
and that's their words, not ours.
Their exact words in Mondello that day was, "You're always taught in school that bullying is bad, but bullying in this case means Paul now has an RX-7."
Yeah.
And that was exactly kind of the way they put it. Paul decided, look, I'll make a go of this again. So went off for paint, went off for bodywork. Bodywork was mostly straight. Kind of a couple of dents pulled out, nothing too major.
He reckoned that like rats and everything have been living in it for years.
Yeah, I think one of the messages said there was 5 or 6 generations of rat families had lived in this car, and he just didn't care. It was just time to get the car fixed. And Renty from Full Metal Garage rebuilt the engine. Like I said, there was that bit of a bottom end rattle in it.
Refabbed the subframe.
Yeah.
Rewired the whole car. Yeah, so basically he had a massive list of stuff to get done before Paddy's Day, because Paddy's Day was the deadline. That's what they basically set for themselves, was this track day on Paddy's Day was when you were getting that car out.
Yeah.
And it actually came down to the wire. As Rob said earlier, stayed from MD Tuning, then did tuning on the Rolling Road. I think it was literally the day before.
It was the night before, late, I think.
Yeah.
Just kind of iron out any and all issues. And to be fair, the car did not skip a beat.
Yeah. And he was out quite a lot.
Yeah, and that's the big thing on how I judge people at track days. If you rock up in a nice car, you better be driving it on, because there's going to be guys out in Starlets that are going to be absolutely wrecking them. My God, having a proper nosy around the car. Very minimalistic. Obviously, you guys will have seen that in.
Like the interior is complete and utter function, and that's it. Like, which is what I absolutely love about it. Like even down to the engine bay. Like obviously they were down to the wire, but it's still very, very tidy on the inside.
Yeah.
Or sorry, in the engine bay, I should say.
And John, we'll drop in a photo here of some of the welding that unless you actually have your head buried in the engine bay, you're never going to see. And it's that little attention to detail, the battery box. The gauges that are kind of away, kind of more so facing the passenger, that when the driver's in the car, it's just drive.
Yeah.
I just think that's so cool. And the fact that it was the atmosphere around the car kind of all day was like it was a full friends group. And it wasn't just kind of one guy went off, bought a car, came to a track day, was an absolute hero, went home. It was, you could actually see how much this car meant to everyone around it, involved with it. And I think that's one of the really, really cool things with some of these builds that rock up.
Yeah, and we have to say again, we really appreciate the guys taking the extra bit of time at the end of the day to allow us to kind of document this. we had no idea. We just literally took the opportunity by the horns when we got it, because it is, again, like we said, one of these kind of rare things that does come out, and it's those rare things that we like to document and kind of give more attention to, because they're just a bit special.
Like anyone can go to
Golf 4.
anyone can buy a Golf 4. Anyone can go to M Sport, be like, give me an R5.
Put Michelin Pilot Sport 4s
on your Golf 4. Yeah. But it's when people actually take the time and spend hard-earned money, and you know there's hardship in these builds. There's absolutely none of them are straightforward. And that is what's really cool. When people are doing something different, like I know SR RX-7 has been done before, but when it's done to this level of detail. I know the other one that immediately jumps to mind is James Dean's RX-7. Now that is missing the SR at the moment, or from when we were last updated on YouTube anyway. But it is like it's a very, very cool chassis, and we were only discussing it yesterday. I think it's just absolutely timeless. Even those bone stock are just beautiful, and to see one done to this level is just fantastic.
Yeah. So guys, obviously we're quite new to this. We really value your feedback. We really value your appreciation and kind words over the last while as well. It's been a real breath of fresh air, and hopefully we're breathing a bit of life into like some drivers, or like the drifting scene in Ireland in general. I feel like everyone we've been talking to recently has been so appreciative and been like, this is deadly, and it really helps that, because obviously Rob being the photographer, but I'm after taking a jump from photography back into videography, and even though it's been quite a while, it's starting to click a small bit with me, you know. Yeah, really appreciate it, guys.
And it has been kind of really cool. Obviously we were down in Cork last weekend. By the time this goes out, you'll have seen the vlog from when we're down with Cheeto. But talking to the drivers and kind of getting the feedback, it is really, really cool. And please let us know if you do see us, what you like and what you don't like, because obviously we're going to try and make content that we like, we enjoy. I think that's kind of the whole premise of this. But if there is things that we could do a little bit differently, or if someone wants to see us go into a little bit more detail of something, I mean, absolutely. We're by no means experts, but my God, we'll give it a good go. But yeah, I know I had a couple of drivers reach out and say it was really cool. So, you know, we really do appreciate it, and it does make it that little bit easier to kind of keep pushing forward with it.
And if anyone's looking for media this year, you know where to find us.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
yeah,
YouTube, any of them,
yeah,
or on our personal pages. But yeah, look, if there is anything that you like, you don't like, if you know of any cool cars for stuff like that, let us know. And I know we've got a fairly packed schedule, but if there is anything that we can do, we generally will try and get it done.
Yeah, it's going to be a packed year, which I am very much looking forward to, but at the same time, we will try and get anything in we can. Yeah,
it's going to be a long year of seeing these two ugly mugs. We probably should have done the podcast instead of a YouTube series.
We probably should have, like, we just talk shite a lot.
But I think we definitely face for radio anyway.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, no, yeah. I wasn't saying we're any good. No.
Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all that crack. Follow us on all of our socials for more kind of regular updates than YouTube. We're going to try and upload here at least once a week, if not twice a week, depending on stuff. We're sitting on a lot of content, and yeah, thanks very much. We'll see you later.
See you all in the next one.